getting things ready still. Hope everyone's doing good today. All right, let's see here. Raise these legs a little bit. I had a snafu right when I was getting ready to start here, which was a leg on my table broke, so I had to get a different table out. Got some tea. Got a Ricola. I'm not sitting where I need to be. Talk about that. Get back over there. All right. All right, I'm gonna be there. Let me know if you're here. Just getting some things set up. This is okay, good. This is live. Thank you. Glad you're here. All right. Am I being heard? It's closer. Okay, close this. Can I close that? Okay. Whew. Let's see if that's a good angle. It's about as good as we're gonna get. All right, good. See if I can make this big. There we go. See this chat? Okay, good. All right, good. Let's get this party started. All right. Gotta get a cup of tea. I already got a cup of tea, but I'm gonna sip a cup of tea. So, welcome. I'm just gonna let things be imperfect today, as always. I thought this week I made this journal. It could be a junk journal, but my intention for it is a photo journal, and I made it as a gift that I'll be sending out this week. But anyways, one of the things that I'm doing is I'm going to add my own ephemera. I think that's how you pronounce it. But I'm not going to put it in there for them. I'm going to just put it in these little pockets, and then they can use them if they want, because this is going to go in the mail. And so they can use the ephemera, which is like the little bits and bops of papers and journal headings and just artsy things like that, that they can put in here if they want. But I'm not going to, I don't know if I'll necessarily make what they're going to put in the journal today, but it gave me the idea because I'm also making a photo journal for my husband and I to have our photos from 2026. I'm going to start printing them out and putting them in keeping diary kind of thing, but photo diary, maybe that's the right word. So I thought it'd be fun to make some handmade ephemera, and I had to look up how to say ephemera because it's kind of a weird word. The word that keeps coming in my mind, which might be totally the wrong use for, but what I want to say instead of ephemera is fodder. So those that do junk journal, let me know what you call the little things that go in the junk journal, the little bits and artsy little stuffs. So I thought it would be fun to paint some, draw, doodle on this watercolor paper. Maybe use some of this parchment paper. And I love these bulleted journal pages from my bulleted journal. I don't really use the bulleted journal in a bullet journal way, but I do like the color and I like the dots, and so I tore some out. I use this journal for morning pages, which if you haven't heard of that, it's when you kind of do a brain dump of your consciousness, a stream of conscious writing in the morning, which I think would make good fodder or ephemera. But anyways, I'm going to use some of that. I've got my watercolors out because I thought it'd be fun to have some colored paper with doodle on it. Doodles. So I'm going to use some of that. But really, you can, the nice thing about this is you can use anything. Anything you have on hand already, anything that you don't want to keep, but you think might be fun to make ephemera out of. Even this little paint swatch could be ephemera, but I'm not going to because I need that. I could always make another one, but anyways, yeah, so I figured I would just start with a little bit of doodling because that will just kind of get my brain going, and then maybe incorporate some paint on that. I like these torn edges. So, and then you need, if you're going to doodle and then paint on it with watercolor, you need a permanent pen, which I think this is. This is archival ink, fade proof, waterproof lines. So this one might be too, oh no, it looks like a good size. So I was just going to write some words and see. I think handmade things and handwritten things are so appealing to me now. They might be to you because I have spent 30 years on the computer and doing everything digital and being all digital on my phone, and everything is just so digital all the time now that I just am really excited about like hand drawing and kind of being imperfect and messy with my letters and doodly with my words. And I read something recently that talked about this ephemera. It's almost like, for those of us that are older and you remember talking on the phone, like a real phone that was plugged into the wall. Let me know if you remember that. It had a cord attached to it, so you couldn't go anywhere. Like you couldn't, if you had a really long cord, like, you know, a 20-foot 20-foot cord, you could go around the corner and have some privacy on the phone. But unless you had a phone, you know, in your own room or something, you were stuck, tethered to the phone, and you would just, you know, I would just take whatever was with me, and I would just start, like, usually drawing flowers like this, you know, and then a little vine, and then some leaves. Or, you know, I was in Florida, so I would draw waves, you know, and just kind of go over them and do, you know, do repeated patterns and stuff. But so that's the best way I can kind of bring it back to what I'm actually doing, which is kind of doodling like we did back then when we were on the phone. Sometimes I do it on when I'm on an iPhone or whatever phone I'm on. But yeah, so it's just kind of like drawing little chicken scratch drawings while you're on the phone, because it's kind of mindless, you know. And so that's kind of the thing that I can relate to what ephemera, like handmade ephemera type stuff is. But I just have some words that I jotted down that I thought would be fun to like play with. And they're all kind of on the slower living type of end of the spectrum here. Let's see, some of the... And I like to play around with lettering. I haven't done it in so long because everything's been, you know, fonts. Picking a font in a Word doc or in a Canva file or in Photoshop or in Procreate or wherever you do digital things. It's fun to like create your own lettering, you know, and be messy with it. I think it'd be cool to kind of go up here. I think I have a different marker I want to use. What's that little marker that I have? Is it this one? Yeah. Let me make sure. Nope, that's fuzzy. I need a non-fuzzy marker. Let's see. Oh, these aren't much better. Let's see, like lowercase maybe. I think within the month, maybe not this month, but within the next month, I think I won't have a barking dog neighbor anymore. I'll be hitting the road. Just doing some little doodles. I'm doing whatever kind of just pops in my head. I don't have a big agenda. I think for me, this is like a lot better for my brain if I don't, you know, I'm getting overwhelmed just talking about it, work myself up into like perfection mode, you know. Oh, I can't do that because I don't have it right and I don't have it figured out and I haven't drawn that in a while, and you know, it's just more fun to have fun. So that's kind of like where I'm coming at with it. I'm just making this, I'm making these little bits and bops that I would want to use, you know, because I'll probably be using them in my little journal. This is like a little, this kind of reminds me of the Smoky Mountains, is why I drew that, you know, and I've been doing this little, I'll put some water on that, watercolor on that in a few minutes. I've been doing this little doodle of Winter. I'm gonna see if I can do it on here. I often call him Floof, and so I have this little doodle character that I made out of the word floof. Good morning from Friday Harbor, Washington. Well, hello, hi. How are you doing? You guys doing okay with all of the flooding going on over there? My sister lives up near Kirkland, and she said that her area was good, but that was a few days ago. We haven't really talked. We're supposed to talk later today. But I hope you're doing well there. What are you working on today? Let's see. I don't know if this one works. Yep. I might do the floof in a bigger Sharpie mode. Let's see if I can find a Sharpie that I like. Once the little point goes dull, they become less usable. I have to get some more pens. Let's see. Yeah, what every artist always says. I need more markers. I need more pens. Yeah, see, like that's a no-go. I mean, I'm gonna keep it because I can make interesting marks with it. But I'll keep it because of that. But I won't. My favorite is when it's new. Well, that's not really new, but that's closer to new. See, the line's thinner. I also like the fine tip ones, but I also don't like the fine tip ones because they are harder to see. But I'm trying to find pens that are waterproof that I already have, that I can, although I don't need that for this one. Just use the whole thing you went and did, Nat, was your Sharpie for floof. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, so floof, let me see if I can remember. Now I'm kind of overthinking it while you guys are watching. Okay. So yeah, that's the floof drawing for my little Winter. I think it looks like a cute little kitty that Winter would look like with his little fluffy hair. But yeah, I'm going to do something with this. I don't know exactly what yet, but I like it. It's kind of sticking with me, and I enjoy drawing it. Let's see here. Do some more lettering. Well, the bullet journal little dots make it easier to keep the lettering more uniform. I just don't know if I want that. But it's options, right? I didn't finish these words up here. Anyone else say February out loud when they're writing it? I still do that. February. It looks weird. February. But that's what it is. Oh, Oreo. What's the dog's name? I'll try some of the parchment paper. I haven't tried that yet. This might be cool to put like words on. I had a fat Sharpie, but I don't think it's out right now. Here's a thinner line one. Does that one work? Yeah, it works. These work on there. These are the acrylic. No, they're not acrylic, but they're just brush markers. Oh yeah, they water up. So still might be cool. I wonder if it'll dry or if it'll always stay wet. I don't know why checkers came in my head. I think I've been playing the drop the cat game too long. I'm not a big game person, like on the phone or anything. Last week I had a day, I'll just call it that. And I think I got in my head way too much. And so I had the idea to, I had gotten this, I have two phones currently. One works with a phone plan and one is just on Wi-Fi. So my favorite phone is the one that's on Wi-Fi right now. And that's my like phone that I use for videoing and pictures and looking at and all that stuff. And then the other phone is for phone calls because I had to get a different carrier to receive calls here. Anyways, I had unpackaged the new phone, which has all these apps preloaded, like everything, like ridiculously. It was like LinkedIn is on there, and you know, I can't think of other apps right now, but they were all on there. And then they have all these games on there. So I was like, oh, interesting, because I don't typically download games or play games or anything like that. But I was like, let me see what that is. And they had this like bubble pop game already loaded, and I started playing it. Well, I noticed that it helped my brain, you know, to stop overthinking, have a little bit of a break time of just doing something just meaningless and boring, like not really boring, but engaging my brain, but not in a deep way, because I feel like a lot of times I just think too deep about everything. And so it was a nice little breath of fresh air. It sounds so like lame to say that when you're talking about a phone, because it's not really a breath of fresh air, but I learned to harness it for good. So I looked on my phone that I love, the one that I'm using right now for the video, and I downloaded this. I don't know how I saw it, but through the other phone, I saw this game advertised called Drop the Cat. And it's like, you know, moving squares around, but they, like you're scooping up cats when you do it. It's so cute and it's fun. And it has, you know, a checkerboard type thing. Not really, but it kind of follows that pattern of being, you know, those little things we used to play with, Gen Xers, where you slide the words around and or letters around and try to make a word. It's like that, but you have to get all the cats and you have to do it in a certain time. But what happens is I don't even think about the time anymore. I just try to do the goal. And it's nice because I can put it down and I don't feel like I'm sucked in, you know, and I'm not scrolling and I'm not doing a bunch of other things, but I'm having a little mental break. So I'm guessing maybe in my subconscious was where these checkers came from, because I don't have a, might have just been there or whatever. I'm interested to see if this blue stays on there. But also it'd be fun just to write some words on here too. Like love. Maybe some hearts. Play with that. I'm going to get my watercolors out. Okay. Let's see. I need my little, there's my little thing. Here it is. I can't tell what's what. So some more blue. Maybe some gray in there. Have little swatches for paint color on the pages. Something I've been wanting to try, I think I'm going to switch over to now, is putting some stitching in some paper. So I have this piece. Oh, maybe I'll do this piece. And I was going to put some I need to find the needle. There it is. Let's see. Oh. Welcome to the live stream. I haven't looked at the thing in a while, so if you're here, I am just playing and being imperfect today, as usual. Give me a thumbs up or a hello or a hi or a Yuletide blessings, or let me know you're there and what you're working on today. We're keeping it slow. Just kind of having fun. Trying to remember what we did with things. There we go. Did I bring my scissors over here? I think I got my scissors out, but did not bring them over. Nope, that's a spoon. That's funny. I actually couldn't tell you where the scissors are right now. Well, I know where to get some, so I'll be right back. Interesting. Not really that interesting, considering it's me. I find when I'm in the middle of doing stuff like this, I can get pretty absent-minded. So, let's see here. All right, found the scissors and I got the awl. You don't need an awl to poke holes because you can use the needle, but I was thinking of maybe doing a line. I got my little, again, I'm making ephemera. Is that how you say it? I call it fodder, but it's basically little bits of handmade papers and things that you can put in your junk journal. Let's see here. If you watched my video on Friday, if you're watching this live, that was just the other day. If you're not watching this live, which I might have this available to watch later, it's a video on making your own photo journal for 2026, which is when I make this. If you look at the video, it's when I make this journal. So yeah, I said earlier on in the live, if you're just joining, that gave me the idea to start making some of the ephemera, or fodder as I call it. Fodder is probably a bad word in a slang or something, knowing my luck. Let's check out these new scissors. Nice. my mom would be, I think my mom would be over the moon that I am actually using a needle and thread. But she was a really talented seamstress. She never really did it as a profession that I know of. She did a lot of other things, but she had a whole sewing room with a full closet of fabrics and stuffs and a serger machine and all the things. And I had zero interest because I like to play outside and I like to do art. And I thought sewing was dumb. Just poked myself. This little bookbinding kit comes with this wax thread and needle and also comes with a thimble, but I didn't put it on because I'm not going to poke myself. So you have to let me know if you've made this kind of stuff for your junk journals or your journals. I really enjoy it. It's helping me with my able to do multiple types of creativity in one kind of thing. Like junk journaling, I can paint, I can doodle, I can stitch, I can print. So it's kind of cool. Okay. That's kind of cool. Do some little cross marks. One of my workshop attendees from the junk journal workshop I did earlier in the month, she travels in the winter and she's in Florida right now, and she took some stuff so she could work on a junk journal, and she sent me a picture yesterday, and she had made the junk journal out of an old Amazon brown package thing, and she stitched X's on it, which I thought was really cool. Well, I think it's really cool that she took stuff with her to be able to junk journal, and I think it's also cool that she incorporated stitching on her cover. And I actually got an I don't know what it's called, a sewing machine foot, but it's open, so like I think quilters use it. I don't have all the verbiage for sewing, so forgive me if I'm not doing it right, but anyways, I'm hoping to sew little whimsical twirly twirls and stuff with the open foot. I think one more X will be good for this one. That's cool. I'll tighten those ends up. But yeah, if you haven't all, keep yourself some corks, because that's a good thing to make it so it doesn't poke you. I also sometimes just stick the needle in there so I can do it quickly. But yeah, so I have, I made this little fodder. I added to this one. These were pieces that I did in the gel print plate last year. And then I did some watercolor with doodles. It's still drying in some of the areas. I tried out some parchment paper, which it's not totally dry, but it's not totally coming off either. So I might just let that dry, because that's kind of a cool texture. Anyways, parchment paper, and then some bullet journal paper. Oh, fingerprint. So yeah, made a lot of ephemera today. I hope you all are having a wonderful day today, and if you celebrate solstice, I hope you have a beautiful evening, and I hope the holiday week is gentle on you and you're kind to yourself this week. Most of all, I hope you keep going, keep creating, okay? Thanks all for coming. We'll talk soon.